Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of Props of the Week. In this edition of Props of the Week, we'll be doing UFC Fight Night, Sterling versus Zalal. And as always, you got me, Ken Crackdown, with Pro Smoke Bets, giving you our props for the week. So again, UFC Fight Night, Aljo versus Sterling, Aljo versus Zalal, or Sterling versus Zalal, however you want to say it. Same two guys fighting each other, no matter what name they want to go by. But anyway, first, last. But four props for this week. Going to jump right into them. Might make it a little quick this week, but yeah, we'll jump right into it. So the first one is Julia Palastri by TKO at plus 350. TKO plus 350. Don't really see her submitting Alucard. Most likely gonna be a decision, but plus 350 for a finish, and Palastri's coming off a good finisher. Like, she's starting to come along. He starts here to develop. Like, he's a young fighter, he's developing. Now he's here to get finishes, or you saw her get a finish. And it's not like Alucard is that well-rounded fighter. She's a small, very small for the weight class. Primarily a grappler. Hasn't really developed as a full mixed martial artist. Got into the game late. She's like 35 years old versus Palastri, who hasn't even touched 30 yet. This is a good fight for Palastri to make a statement, get a TKO. And that at plus 350 is a good value. I'm not saying it's like such a high likelihood, but it's a good thing. She's riding a knockout a knockout win. Palastri, she's riding a knockout win. She's going with a fighter who really doesn't have the best takedown offense, doesn't really have any striking develop. This is a fight for Palastri to look good and get a stoppage on the feet with striking. So plus 350, I think that's a good value for a decent prop. Next one is Montague by decision at minus 105. This is probably more of a likely prop. The value ain't that crazy good or anything by any means, but it's maybe something you compare with another prop. Like depending on where your money is or how you feeling about it. If you feel like it's a lock for you, the Montague prop of decision is feel like a lock for you, maybe just put 2-3 units or maybe 4 units. That's what you're feeling. I'm not saying that's what I'm feeling. I'm not particularly feeling that way. The way I'm feeling about it more so parlaying it with something that I feel more confident about, or a couple plays I feel more confident about, or a couple money lines I feel more confident about. And then maybe throw on a unit, maybe throw on half a unit, maybe throw on a quarter unit on it. But either way, play it how you want to play it. But Montague decision, I feel like is a more safer prop, but the value ain't that good. It's minus 105. She's fighting Bueno Silva, who at one point was looking very promising, but has definitely fallen off the horse. And Montague has all the skills to beat Bueno Silva. She has the grappling to be able to keep her honest. She gets the takedowns on top, and I think she's a long, big body for the weight class, so she can, I think, hold her own with Bueno Silva, especially at this point where Bueno Silva, since the steroid allegation, has not been able to win a fight with like an 0-4 fight losing streak. So Montague by decision, I don't think she stops Bueno Silva. I really haven't seen no one stop Bueno Silva. I think outside when she tried to drop down to 125, I don't think she even got stopped in that fight, but she did look particularly bad in that one where she gets picked apart. But yeah, Bueno Silva has not been looking herself in a long time, but she also has still been looking tough. She has been making it the full 15 or 25 minutes. So I don't see Montague some big, particularly finishing type fighter here. I see this fight going the distance. And I see Montague getting the decision victory. So that at minus 105, I think that's one of the safer props of the night. Again, the value ain't really there, but it's a safer prop. Next, I got McVeigh by sub at plus 200. Cedric Dumas has been straight up just wetting the bed, pooping the bed, whatever way you want to say it. And in his last fight against Dante Johnson didn't even have a full lock and submission. Like, he didn't even get to the point of really even applying the pressure of the submission, and Cedric Dumas tapped like super quick. And McVeigh does have good submissions. I feel like McVeigh and Cedric Dumas are really similar fighters, but I feel like McVeigh just has way more hunger right now, and probably more toughness than Dumas has ever had. Dumas has never really shown great toughness in any fights. He has won some fights in the UFC, cool and all that, but I feel like when the going gets tough, he has checked out every single time. I feel like McVeigh has shown me more heart than Dumas. He has less mileage than Dumas, and Dumas is coming off a fight where he tapped very quickly to submission that wasn't even fully locked in. So I see McVeigh just really, putting the heat on him, get him in, locking the submission on him, and McVeigh again does have very good submissions, and especially when it comes to like the headlocks, guillotines, darts like that, like stuff that was exactly what Dumas got tapped out with in his last fight. So I could see him getting put in another submission, similar situation, and tapping again or going to sleep. So McVeigh by sub at plus 200, I do think is a good prop, good value there. And then last one, Ryan Spann by KO or decision at plus 175. And I think this is a good value for underdog, to be honest. Underdog play. Or at least the way I played it. I'm playing it because plus 200 for Ryan Spann by KO or plus 175 for KO in the decision. I feel like those cover his path to victory. I don't think he'll go out there and submit Buchecha, BJJ legend, like BJJ Hall of Famer. I don't think he'll go out there and submit him if possible. And you know, when you do something like that, that's probably the impossible happens. Like, oh, you say it's not possible, it happens, but yeah, this barring, you know, sticking to reality or what's most likelihoods. Yeah, sticking to likelihoods. Ryan Spann KO decision that covers his two very much most likely paths to victory. I don't think he should be the underdog anyway. So you already get him at underdog, and you just add a little bit extra on there. I think he was like a plus 140, plus 125, and then you add like, you know, 50 more on it. So one plus 125 to plus 175. Versus trying to, you know, get a little bit greedy and go for the KO and at plus 200, you can again cover his two most likely bases, KO or decision. He go on there with Buchecha, who's still very green as a fighter. Still very much a BJJ guy that hasn't really learned how to, you know, hasn't learned MMA, hasn't learned boxing, hasn't learned Muay Thai, hasn't really learned wrestling. He's just a BJJ guy that's trying to make it work. And yeah, Ryan Spann's background is a BJJ, so I think Ryan Spann can address the grappling. Again, not saying he's on his level, but I think he can address the grappling. He had like 30 plus fights in MMA, and mostly Ryan Spann's issue has been getting touched on the feet. It hasn't been, oh, this guy just took him down and submitted him. Oh, he gets taken down and submitted 100 times a year, right? Or he got taken down and submitted X, Y, and Z 15 times. No, it's been, you know, maybe he got extended out the first round, then he started gas, he got checked on the chin, then maybe they submit him after that, but most of the time, you know, stuff like that. It's mostly been set up by maybe cardio issues and striking in lack of defense. But Buchecha hasn't really shown the ability to even throw a real decent punch yet, hasn't really shown any type of fleshed out, respectable level striking. Just, again, that world-class BJJ, and his cardio is questionable as well. He's, again, still a BJJ guy that hasn't really transitioned over to being a real mixed martial artist. So I can see Ryan Spann winning like a sloppy, laborious decision or, you know, sparking him early. So I can see those are the paths I see. And that's at plus 175 for Ryan Spann by KO or decision. So how do you feel about those props, Pro Small?
Wild, man. Even from the top, if we start from the top with Pilastri at plus 350 for a knockout, that's incredible, man. Yeah, granted, a lot of people are gonna doubt. They're gonna doubt, you know, the prop because, you know, let's face it. If it wasn't Jasmine Jazz Divisius on Contender Series or the Meatball Corey McKenna or Lupe Godinez, Pilastri's getting taken down all the time. But here, there's something very different about this. Talita Alansar is incredibly small. She's ideally an atom weight. And I'm talking smaller than Luma Lukbonmi, much shorter than Carlos Barza. She is the smallest ever to debut for the UFC. That's a huge deal. Pilastri, with that jab to high kick, it's over. You know what I mean? So if she were to get muscled like Alan Carr did to Carnelosi, I'm almost positive she's getting up. Anything against the octagon wall when Alan Carr's gassing in the second or third goes right to Pilastrian combinations. So I love that at plus 350. That's money. And then Michelle Montag with Myra Bueno Silva. It's unfortunate, but we've seen these 3, 4, 5 fight losing skids, man. If it's not Marlon Vera, it's Marvin Vittori. If it's not Vittori, it's Adesanya. So why not add Myra Bueno Silva? You know what I mean? So for a decision there with Montag, who's the more ideal wrestler, grappler, scrambling to endure 3 rounds? Clearly, we have to give the edge to Montag, who has the cardio. When we talk about McVeigh getting his submission, that man is way overdue. And you said it, he's technical. He's a technical grappler. He's going to chain his grappling on Cedriquez Dumas, and it's over, man. A lot of folks betting Dumas, too, by the way, which is interesting. And then, of course, last but not least, what's this line, man, and the method?
Yeah, Ryan Spann by KO or decision at plus 175.
Let's go, man. With Chucha, same thing, man. The Brazilian just gasses. Ryan Spann looked good. He looks like he's in shape. And one thing I like giving Ryan Spann credit for, man, is he's a very hard worker. He's disciplined. Everyone from the coaching staff at his gym talks highly of him for that. So yeah, man, I like that particular edge there. I love this prop card, man. This is a good one.
So yeah, those have been the props of the week for UFC Fight Night. Sterling versus Zalal. Once again, I'll run through them one more time. Pilastri by TKO at plus 350. Montague by decision at -105. McVay by submission at +200. And Ryan Spann KO or decision at +175. And those have been the props of the week for UFC Fight Night, Sterling versus Zalal. And as always, again, me, King of Crackdown with Pro Smoke Bets, giving you our props for the week. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and come back with more videos.